the once popular video game EA Sports College Football is making a return this summer, and a play-by-play announcer from New Jersey is lending his voice to the game. Rich DeMarco is from Tenafly and currently announces football games for West Point. Rich joins me now to talk about this awesome new adventure. Rich, how are you this morning?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So, Rich, before we get into the video game, talk a little about your broadcasting background and how you got into the field.
Well, I went to Rutgers University in New Brunswick. Actually went as an engineering major, but after about a year, really loved the broadcast end of it. I worked on the college radio station. Did that for 4 years. Did some actually public address announcing down there as well. That's where I got my start doing really both. And then after that, was able to, and lucky enough to work in New Brunswick for about 5 years doing Rutgers women's basketball, football, men's basketball, pregame, postgame, ton of high school stuff. And then in 2004, getting the opportunity to come here to Army, and it's been absolutely unbelievable here, just working with the cadets and the different sports teams, and of course the success that we've had in football here over the last 7-8 years has been a lot of fun.
That's fantastic, and I'm sure there were plenty of broadcasters who would have loved to have had this video game job. How did you get selected for it?
Got a call last April, actually, from the Human Resources Office, Electronic Arts, saying that they knew of me and was wondering if I'd like to audition to have a part in the new college football video games. So I had an intro interview, I guess you would say, then an audition call. And then after that, a couple weeks later, I think it was Memorial Day weekend, I found out that I'd gotten the gig, and had to keep it obviously under wraps, and got into the recording in about September and wrapped up in February.
It had to be a hard secret to keep. Now, you're a play-by-play announcer by trade, but a public address announcer in this game. Are there any adjustments you had to make from real life to video game?
Absolutely. And really, it's about the pacing, right? When you're a play-by-play announcer, you're looking to be quick. I love to get the color commentator involved. You're talking about storylines. When it's public address, it's that just omnipresent voice that really you don't have to get out or be, quick. And I just keep to the the three C's, as Bob Shepard used to say, clear, concise, and correct. And I think what we were able to bring to the table here is just a blank slate going into this. And I can't tell you how awesome the producers and the coaches, really, as I call them, were at EA Sports, just on the pacing we need, the inflection we needed. And I didn't go in with any kind of shtick for doing public address or anything, just, hey, how do we work together to make this, whether it's an incomplete pass on third down or whether it's a crowd prompt you're going to hear specifically in a stadium, how do we make it sound right, authentic to college football? And I really took all the coaching, took everything they would tell me in the sessions to get better, looked at the scripts to just make it as good as I can. However big my role was going to be in the game, I wanted it to be really well done, and I take a lot of pride in that.
Now, were you given a script that you had to stick to strictly, or were you allowed to come up with some stuff of your own?
That's a good question. So I was given scripts, a few days in advance of our recordings. We then would talk through the scripts during the recording. And, really, as the public address announcer, you're working on short clips, right? So whether it's, what yard line the ball is on, incomplete pass. But when you get into certain things of, whether it was the receiver or the running back and how you want to say the pass went or how it was incomplete, we got into some nice creative things. And again, the whole key to this is authenticity. So, without giving away a lot of the details and what everyone's going to enjoy this summer, which is going to be awesome, really I took a lot of pride in every time you hear a public address announcer, how different things could be said to make it as authentic as possible.
Now, what were some of the challenges you faced in doing all this voiceover work? Because from what I understand, a lot of it was done from home and not in a studio.
Well, it was interesting because I think we settled into a lot of afternoon recording sessions. So, I take a half day at work here and go home and, start the recordings. And, my kids would come home during it, but they did a great job being quiet. I'll tell you what, we have 10-year-old twins. I think they were a little intimidated. I built a little mini studio in my attic, and the folks at EA were awesome, sending me, microphone, mic stand, sound panels, mixer board, laptop, iPad, everything I needed And I had a friend come over and help me really build it and create a little soundproof area that was just a great place to go to. But the biggest challenge that I thought I'd have with the kids coming home, they were awesome. So they're the MVPs. The first copy I get of this game is going to them.
Well, Rich, this is awesome, and I can't wait to hear the final product. Thanks so much for taking the time this morning.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And again, best of luck with everything. And again, thank you.
You as well. Head over to ONNJ.com for the latest news and sports anytime.